Lord Lieutenant, Madam Consul, my Lord Mayor, Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour, bienvenue. When I was invited to prepare a few words of thanks for today's ceremony, my first thought was that those few words ought to be in a language appropriate to my new office. I was deterred by memories of the late Eric Morecambe. I realised that if I were to attempt a few words of French, I might well choose all the right words. Not necessarily. Wiser counsel suggests that I confine myself to words that will be understood by my audience. The first of those words, Madam Consul, must be words of thanks to President Hollande, to yourself, and to all the French people for this prestigious award that you have kindly presented to me this morning. The French government did not have to do this. The events of World War II happened before their time. It is good to know that the younger generation still appreciates what my country did for the freedom of Europe more than 70 years ago. The award has been made to me personally. It has been pointed out that I went to France personally to eject the occupying forces, but I did not go alone. I am told that the same award has been given to a few hundred veterans of British veterans, all of whom are now in their 90s. We are all aware that there were many others who would have received the same award had they lived long enough. My award, as has been said, is a tribute from the French government to them also. I wish to reciprocate by paying tribute to the courage and fortitude of the French people themselves. It is often overlooked that many of the battles of 2 world wars were fought on French soil, and many French people lost their homes and sometimes their lives. In the summer of 1944, the citizens of Luc-sur-Mer faced the same dangers as my comrades and myself. It was their hometown, and they had nowhere else to go. Nevertheless, the French people welcomed us not merely with courtesy, but with joy and enthusiasm. It is good to know that French children are taught that the British were their friends at the time of one of the darkest periods in their nation's history. Thank you, Lord Lieutenant, for all the kind things you have said on my behalf. It is clear that you have been well briefed on the details of my RAF service. It gives me great pleasure to represent the RAF ground crews who were sent into Normandy to provide essential support for our fighter squadrons, and through them to provide vital air cover to the British assault forces. I should have said really the British liberating forces. This prompts me to thank officers of the Royal Air Force and of the Royal Air Forces Association who are present today. I particularly thank Squadron Leader Johnson, my contemporary, for his part in the presentation. Johnny Johnson is a man who has in his own lifetime come to represent the heroism of all our bomber forces in World War II. I am moved that he has chosen to display his comradeship with a former aircraftman who performed a relatively minor but essential role in a small ground radar unit. It is good to know that almost 70 years after I left the service, I am still counted as one of their own. When I was released from active service in 1947, I was not demobilized, but was transferred to the RAF G Reserve and was told that in an emergency I might be recalled to active service. Up to now, I have not been recalled. It is evident that if I am ever needed, they know where I am. I thank you all, my family and friends, for coming here this morning, and I thank everyone who has helped to organize this presentation. I do not know who they are because I have not been told. My thanks are nevertheless sincere for being anonymous. One man, however, is not anonymous. Our Master of Ceremonies today, my friend Peter Rothwell. Since I reminded him last summer that I had served with the RAF in Normandy, he has left no stone unturned in his efforts to ensure that I duly receive this award. I accept the award with pride and humility, and when I am no longer able to wear it, I trust that my family and friends will continue to display it as evidence of what I was able to achieve. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est tout. Je vous remercie.